very strange to tell your parents at 5 years old you want to be Porky Pig, and my mom said you can't be Porky Pig, you're Jewish. And I didn't quite understand what that meant.
If you look at some old interviews from the 70s and 80s, Mel's like, that's all, folks. And the older one was, that's all, folks. And I try to find a happy medium to please people because they always go, it's not quite right. I'm like, I know.
You wrinkle your nose, you make it kind of nasal. And then for the third sound, you push it more. It'll be a boy. It's a chair. It's a desk. And then you have to put together full sentences. The boy sat in the chair next to the desk. And nobody can do that, and that's when I have job security.
All right. Bob Bergen, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Bob Bergen in the house. Okay.
Can I just say I hate watching myself.
I know, me too.
A lot of people do.
A lot of people hate watching me. It's okay. All right.
Just to be clear,
Bob,
get it out in the open
now, but there are a bunch of guys watching you behind your head.
I know, but those are my idols. Can you tell who they are?
I know one of them is Winston Churchill and one of them's Robin Williams.
Nobody's Winston Churchill, but there's Robin Williams. So that's
not Churchill.
That's Bela Lugosi.
Hitchcock.
That's Bela Lugosi right there. That's Bob Hope. That's Brando. That's Boris Karloff. That's James Cagney. That's Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. And wait a minute, and that's Cagney. That's Brando. And there's other people. And across the way, you can't see them, is Jack Nicholson and Katharine Hepburn. I collect life masks, as you can see.
That's amazing. That's awesome. All right. So we are going to start off with a Q&A, and we're going to end up here with a little fun little panel thing that happens at Comic-Cons and stuff. Only with this one, we're going to take The Princess Bride, and I've assigned my students to cut it into 15 minutes. And assign some of the other students from the graduate class from last year to go ahead and read with me and Bob as whatever character they choose. So it's all going to be a surprise to me. I'm excited for that to happen.
All right.
Up until that point, we're going to be asking you some questions. And I wanted to start with, okay, so let's discuss how the industry is currently changing fast because of this home studio thing. And what are the odds that now might be an easier time for someone who has spent the last 5 years of their life honing their chops, going to class, getting their skill set up, doing their mic time, and working on those characters and doing every possible acting thing that they can to hone their chops and is really ready to compete at that level, got their website, their demo together. What are the odds that now is an easier time for them to be introduced to the animation scene and possibly even get a job in animation without living in Los Angeles?
No, that will not happen. That will not happen. So what's happening right now is a huge disruption. Well, first of all, let me backtrack a little bit. When I was on this side of the class, nobody could work outside of Los Angeles. Right now, people are trickling in, working outside of Los Angeles in animation. But we're talking about, I'm doing a series right now, and I posted this today on Facebook. I'm doing a show where one of my cast members is on Broadway. Well, was on Broadway until Broadway closed down. And they're recording them remotely. When this virus thing happened a week and a half ago and we were all sequestered, in the last less than 2 weeks, those of us that weren't able to record from home now have home studios. This is just to accommodate us. It is a huge disruption. And the reason why this won't go to the masses around the country is because animation, be it a series or a feature, is ensemble. There must be consistency in the recording. So I'll backtrack a little bit more. When you live in Poughkeepsie or Dayton, Ohio, and you're doing e-learning or a commercial or a narration, you're the only person on the audio. It doesn't matter what your system sounds like, you're it. When you're doing animation, your character must match everybody else recorded. That is a very difficult task. So the person in my cast in New York, They found a compatible studio with the exact same microphone, with the exact same recording program, with the exact same chords, etc. They even put the surrounding barriers around them that matched everybody else. So there's consistency in the finished product. Here's what's going to happen with coronavirus. We are going to record at home. Those of us that have recordings that in the end, they're like, yeah, that works. It's done. I'd say 80 to 90% of us are going to go back in and redo everything ADR. The reason why we are doing it in our homes is so the animators can go to work. So for people who don't know, for people who watched Mrs. Doubtfire, it's not done to picture. We record the dialogue first. It takes a year for an episodic or television cartoon to get to on air, and 2 to 5 years for a feature. There's plenty of time for the animators to work and get this done. And by the time they get it done, we can go in and do it ADR. So this will not open the doors to people all over the world to get into what I do. That on the positive side, because there is a positive side, people.
We're all crying over.
Yeah, but you know what? Get over it, because I'm gonna share some truth. When I got into this business in 1982, we had 3 networks. I got to look for my camera. And each network has Saturday morning cartoons. There were occasional primetime cartoons, and that was it. And they had everybody they ever needed to do cartoons. I broke in. All right. Cut to today. We have, is that liquor? Oh my, oh, okay. Because I was just going to say, got liquor. Okay, good. Because, all right, cut to today. We have several 24/7 networks devoted to animation. We have games. We have streaming cartoons. We have web series. We have animated features. Every major studio today has a thriving animation department that does animated features all year long. There has never been more work for the animation voiceover actor than today. But geography is still an issue. Here's the thing, gang. Those of you who live outside of Los Angeles, if you want to get into animation, you got to live here. Those of you who live in outside of Los Angeles, outside of New York, and you want to get into Broadway, you got to move to New York. So you got to move to where the industry is. If you had asked me when I got into this business that if people could live in Middle America and have access to the voiceover work that I do that's not animation, I would have said, you're crazy. It happened. So I think it will become mainstream at some point, but this Corona issue is not the catalyst to make that happen.
Right. So Otis is saying, I was under the impression that there is animation done in Vancouver. There absolutely is.
There is.
Tony.
There is.
There's good stuff going on there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. There's animation in Vancouver. Let's call it Canada. There's animation in Canada. There's some animation in New York, but the majority is in Los Angeles, and the majority that is in Los Angeles is union.
Yeah, and that was my next question, Bob. Let's talk a little bit about the union. I've got a lot of people here, and you know, it's the same question. They're in the same position in their career. They get to this point where they're ready to compete, thinking about moving to Los Angeles. When do I join the union? That's the big question.
Okay, it's a great question. So 25, 30 years ago, my answer would have been the moment you can.
Right.
My answer now is the moment you need to, because you're save your money, guys. Don't join the union till you get a job that makes you union eligible and you're at the point where you want to compete union. So cartoons will always be union. Do you know why? Oh, I'm asking you, Eliza.
Me, Eliza, why will cartoons always be union? Network?
By the way, let me qualify this. The majority of voiceover is non-union. 80% of voiceover, commercials, narration, promo is non-union. But animation, mainstream animation will stay union. Mainstream commercials are not union right now. But why will animation stay union?
I don't know the answer to that question.
The answer is because animation is a scale business and they want celebrities.
That's what I thought. You know, when I first got
Why didn't you say that?
well, no, but I asked my agent Tim at William Morris. I was like, wait a minute, when they first started having celebrities
Well,
come
Tim
in,
should
take
have known
over all
that.
those
He's
lead
William
roles,
Morris.
huh?
Tim should have answered that. He's William Morris.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But no, I asked him. I was like, wait a minute. Are you guys just keeping us at scale, and there's really no way of ever going from being scale to being celebrity because you're selling these movies on the idea that you've got this big celebrity they need to spend $20 million on, because you can also populate the rest of their film with really brilliant actors who will work for scale? And he was like, nah.
Very few celebrities get 20 million. You're talking Shrek.
Right.
I've worked on a zillion animated features, and I've been at the studio where everybody's contract was in the lobby. And
Right.
because I'm nosy, I'm looking. And I am seeing to the major actors, scale plus 10, scale plus 10, scale plus 10, scale plus 10. And there's more day-to-day episodic TV
Right.
animation and features.
Right.
It's a scale business. And as long as it is, and even if it's not, even if it's a major motion picture where they're paying, big money for celebrities, at the end of the credits, you'll see a clump of names that says additional voices. Those are us. That's the collective us.
Right.
Trust me, there's great money in that because of residuals. No, animation will stay union. I can't speak for the occasional web series where they're looking for anybody to voice anything, but mainstream animation will stay union because of celebrities.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, kids. Okay, are we starting to get some questions in the chat?
Absolutely.
Stroke your turtle. Stroke your turtle.
Which one?
Only if you stroke Marlon
Direct me,
Brando.
Bob. Be a director.
Listen, I like actors to have creative freedom. You choose your turtle.
I like Mikey.
Oh, yeah. Who's your turtle, baby? Who's your turtle?
Totally,
right.
dude. Okay.
Stuart,
So,
do you see any questions in the chat there, Stuart, that we need?
That's Jeffrey's job.
Yep, I got the questions.
Okay.
Sarah, we have how do you know when to approach an agent? I have 5 years of indie and online VA in the VA scene.
Okay, it's a really good question. I can tell you the mistakes people make. Hang on one second. My agent is
Speaking of agents,
texting me right now, and I just told my agent. I'll get back to you. I can tell you the mistakes people make when they submit to agents. First of all, let's start. It's all done electronically. When I was in this side of the world, I would physically send a package, the demo and cover letter, whatever. Today, it's all done electronically on an email. You want to guarantee you won't get an agent? Put in the subject line, seeking representation. That will kill you. You might as well say, dump this in your trash.
Oh.
Here's what will get you listened to. Referred by, and that by better be impressive. Not another actor. Not an actor, a buyer. If you guys don't know what I mean by buyer, a producer, a casting director, the head of an ad agency, an executive producer of a cartoon, the person that produced the game that you did, etc. Because that person can hire you again. That brings you value to that submitted agent. That person, if that agent has a relationship with, will hire and has hired their existing people. That person, if that agent represents you, well, you're now an easier sell the next time that referral has an audition for you. Okay, that's the number one thing, referred by. Number two, the body of the email. A laundry list of things you've done, nobody cares about because actors can lie about their credits left and right. That laundry list needs to be accompanied with the people you worked with. So, Radio Shack, radio spot, Shy Day advertising, writer, producer, director, casting director. Game, writer, producer, company, etc. It's the buyers, it's the human beings, it's the people that bring the value, not the experience. The people with the experience. Again, if you list, and by the way, you put on the cover letter, recent work includes. And even if you only have 5 credits to your name, put those 5 credits as recent credits. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to, even if it's 20 years old, I don't care. As long as your commercial credit doesn't have a conflict, they don't care. So if you put down on your cover letter, recent credits include, with a list of actual buyers. So now here's what most people don't do when they're submitting to agents. They don't put themselves in the agent's chair. They do what everybody else is doing in the herd, just the generic email, the copy paste email they send to everybody, which is why 99% don't get called back. Referral, that body with specifics, the people, the buyers. So now you're going to put yourself in the agent's chair. Wow, 80% of those buyers I already work with. So if I represent this actor, every time 80% of these buyers send me copy, that actor is an easier sell. 20% of these buyers I've never met. This actor just brought 20% more value to my office, because I would love to meet these relationships. People, it's not about your demo. Nobody cares who you studied with. Nobody cares what you've done. It's the people, the relationships that you bring with your career that will not only get you representation, but advance your career. I have heard more horrible demos with great relationships that I've referred to agents. I have heard more great demos with 0 relationships, and I'm like, guys, hold off on submitting. You're not ready. You have nothing to represent yet. And great talent is a dime a dozen. Guys, it's a dime a dozen. Most demos are great. It's about the people that you know.
Right. So again, that's a great reason to move to Los Angeles, and that's a great reason to move to Vancouver, and that's a great reason to move to someplace where this animation specifically happens. Now, don't be discouraged about video games. That's a whole different world. But the question that I had for you would be the next natural question, Bob. I know there are 100 ways to answer this, but it's at the tip of people's tongues. So how do you make that first relationship, first connection? What do you suggest?
The same way we all did. Talent, luck, circumstance, opportunity. I mean, look, I got my first job through a connection at a party when I was 16. I was a bank teller who I just struck up a conversation that I wanted to do voice. I told her I wanted to be Porky Pig. And 2 years later, she contacts me and she says, listen, I know it's been a while, but you said you wanted to be Porky Pig. I'm now the head of talent coordinating at Marvel Productions, and I'm casting a cartoon called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Would you like to audition for it? It really is all about being prepared when opportunity knocks. That's what luck is. So the first people that I keep seeing questions, the people that ask, do you just keep working until you're ready? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You study. Here's the problem, Eliza. And you know the answer to this. We are living in the world of E. E is electronic, where everybody is talking about making money at voiceover. It's all about making money. When I was studying voiceover or acting, if any teacher ever uttered making money or how to make money or that you can make money, that was a red flag. Get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at Pat Brady's Christmas party. Pat Brady is an agent, at the buffet line with Rob Paulson. And I said to Rob, this is a few years ago, I said to Rob, did you get into this for the money? He said, buddy, I'm not into it today for the money. I said, well, me too, but everybody's getting into it for the money. And everybody thinks that I'm still into it for the money. Guys, I don't give a fuck if I ever book it. I don't give a, can I swear? I just swore.
Yes, you can absolutely swear, especially if you do it as Tweety Bird, just saying.
Oh, no, I won't do that because I'll get sued by Warner Brothers. And right now I'm doing a lot of stuff for Warner Brothers. I don't care if I book. When I go to my booth to audition, I'm there to have fun.
Yeah.
My sole purpose is to have fun at the audition. When I book it, I have to go back in my files and check if I auditioned for it because I forget it.
Yeah, I trained myself to do that as well. That's a really valuable skill. Forget the audition.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, the bottom line is our generation got into this for the love of it. People are getting into it today. And if you get into it for the money, the problem is you're going to start relying on it prematurely to pay your bills. And then you're going to start taking $5 on Fiverr for a voiceover job because you have to do it. My generation waited tables. I was a tour guide at Universal Studios. I was a mall Santa Claus. I was a tour guide at Universal. I was a massage therapist. I didn't start relying on voiceover to pay the bills until I knew I could. But people are doing it today because they think it's the thing to do.
Yeah. Stuart, do you have any more questions for him? Or Bob, are you seeing anything that you want to answer?
I haven't even looked. I'm sorry. I'm looking.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's not your responsibility.
I'm currently in Los Angeles. I didn't see the rest of it. I'm sorry. It's just going too fast.
No, I know it is. Stuart, what do you have next? Or Jeffrey, what do you have next?
Just relating to the demo, I know it depends on relationship and not so much the demo, but for an animation demo, what is your opinion on using copy that you've written yourself versus repurposed copy?
Oh, great question. Whoever asked that. Okay, first of all, never use
Fink.
John, thumbs up, buddy. Never use copy you've ever seen at an audition or a class. And here's why. The agents have heard it. The casting directors have heard it. They're going to compare you to the person that booked it. If you're hiring a reputable demo producer, trust that they can write good copy. I suggest use comic books as copy because there are as many different genres of comic books as there are cartoons. And there are 3 scripts that are used in a cartoon. There is the dialogue script, the writer's script, and the storyboard. A storyboard is a comic book. Change the names of the characters, change the names of the locations. So let's talk about demos for a second since we're talking about demos. 9 out of 10 animation demos get turned down, and here's why. Guys, go to William Morris, Atlas, CESD, DPN, AVO, Dean Panero. Go to every major voiceover agency's website and listen to every animation demo. If you hear any character on any of those demos, on your demo, you made a bad demo. Those are the voices they don't need. What they need from you is original. They need an original witch. They need an original old man. They need an original little kid. And you're going to go, well, how do you make those original? Well, this is why the cream floats to the top. Because those that get representation are brilliant. Guys, it's not about versatility. It's about brilliance. You don't want your characters commenting on a situation. You want your characters involved in a situation. You don't want them saying, you want them doing, which means you want them in action. There is an unheard scene partner in every scene on your demo. Every character has an unheard scene partner. This is the same rule that I tell my students when it comes to an audition. With every scene, they're not lines, they're scenes. With every scene, you ask yourself 3 questions. Who am I talking to? What is my relationship with them? And where are we? The mic is the ear of your scene partner. Where you are on mic corresponds with where the characters are in the visual, in the scene. So you don't just read lines, you act and react. And you want some kind of adjustment in the story to react to. So in that 5 to 12 second clip, your character isn't just commenting on what's happening, they're involved in what's happening. Why is this important? Because it's showing the agent you're submitting to, the casting director that the agent is pitching your demo to, that you can act. So it's not about how many voices you can do. We can all do voices. So my gardener can do voices, but my gardener can't act. So again, this is why 9 out of 10 animation demos get rejected, because it's just a minute and a half of really versatile voices. No characters that are original, and they're not showing off their acting range.
Thank you, Bob. Words of wisdom. I have a guy here who I'd like to have Stuart introduce at some point. Kai, I'm sure many of you have seen his video. It went viral. It had 150,000 million, I don't know, views on, I don't know how many views it had. It had bazillions of views. Kai, you can go ahead and pipe up in the chat, and Stuart, if you want to unmute him, you're welcome to.
He's open and ready.
Yeah, he's in Thailand right now, and he had a question for me about. Okay, so well, Kai, go ahead and ask your.
Kai, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thanks for inviting me on. I was actually just thinking, Bob, it's a good job it's not the swine flu rather than coronavirus. Otherwise, Porky Pig would be in a bit of trouble.
You know what, buddy? Buddy, I wish I could tell you that was original, but I've been hearing that every
Okay, right. I'll move on from the
my phone's ringing. I'm turning off my phone.
Aww.
Go ahead, Kai.
We'll have to try and recover some pride then with something that was original. So I'd really like to get into voice acting. I've never had anything to do with acting whatsoever. I did an impromptu video that went so viral it reached, I think it was 150 million views on the internet.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I'm sorry?
What'd you do?
He did like 100 dialects perfectly.
From around the world.
Here's the deal. Can I just share something? I need to hire Eliza because I'm terrible at dialects. Bravo, my friend. Bravo.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. He's got an incredible ear, which also means, and this is going to segue into my next little segment here with you, Bob, because the thing I was supposed to teach at VO Atlanta this week was the art and science
I know.
Voice matching.
Yeah, and you know what? It would have been awesome because they've never had anything like that.
Yeah. So, but I do want to introduce that conversation because when someone is this adept at dialects and accents and has that kind of an ear, they are also adept at preserving iconic voices.
Yeah.
And voice matching, which is a valuable talent and can help you get your foot in the door when everybody they know can't quite match that voice. So that's just something to put on the table in this conversation as well.
So Kai, what's your question?
Well, okay, so my question was going to be, it was one thing to having a flippant video that reaches 150 million people. That's great. It was improv and all that. So that's good. But obviously, it's not acting, as you've said before. Although I would really like to get into acting, how would I use that platform? Because I mean, it has got me onto I've been onto the news channels and things because of it and all that sort of stuff. And I have zero connection with your industry. But having that big platform and having that many hits, and it's still getting lots and lots of hits. How could I use that to at least get my foot somewhere so I could start the conversation, so I could at least see if I'm any good at this acting thing? Because it's a lot of hits to not be able to use to get my foot somewhere.
All right, so on social media today, I did a Vanity Fair interview a few weeks ago that launched today, and one of the things I talked about was for those actors that can do impressions or classic characters, if you can say the catchphrases or a few safe things well, that's not going to do you well. So I told the producer of this Vanity Fair interview, hand me a magazine, let me read it cold as Porky Pig. If you can read in character, or in your case, in your accents and your dialects, in front of your newspaper in that accent and dialect, you're gold. So here's my advice to anybody who can do accents, dialects, or superb impressions of contemporary characters. Go to IMDb. Well, first of all, go to Google and Google search all the movies in the last 2 years. And then go to IMDb and cross-reference the ADR editors. Find them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Now you should have a demo, and you should have a website. You should have business tools. You're going to market to them and show them exactly what you do. Because I can tell you right now that the ADR editor who had a film that took place in New Zealand is going to want people that sound like they're from New Zealand. 9 out of 10 times they're going to hire somebody from New Zealand. If they can hire an expert like you or Eliza or people who are experts at this, because I am not an expert at this, you guys get the job before we do. So you need to know where and who to market your career to. I'm also going to tell you that the voiceover agents today will tell their actors that a website is a been there, done that. The YouTube videos with the billions of hits will get you further than
that's good.
Yeah, trust me, buddy. It's all about influencers. It's all about social media. It's all about followers. And here's why. So let's say that you and I both auditioned for the same cartoon. Ooh, somebody got a message. Yay! So we auditioned for the same cartoon, you and I. And let's say that I have 5,000 followers and you have 50,000 followers. And let's say the network thinks I'm better. You have the job, and here's why. I have 5,000 views, episode 1. You have 50,000 views, episode 1. They don't give a shit. Oh, I swear again, I'm sorry. They don't give a darn who's the better actor. They want people to watch that first episode. So followers today are the E-Generation's Nielsen ratings. When you're a celebrity on TV in 1980, you want a 40 share. You want Nielsen ratings. Today, you want followers, influencers. Yeah. So you're doing everything right. I mean, my God, buddy.
Your point's proven by the fact that that's how Eliza got in contact with me through my company. That I actually own a travel company. That's what I do. And Eliza contacted me through my company because of that video, which is why I'm talking to you today.
And Eliza is in sync with what attracts people to talent. It's not necessarily their vocal skills. It's, oh my God, the world is talking about this person. I would like to be a part of this world. Part of this world. Okay, I know I got one cartoony. No, Eliza's smart. She gets it. It's all about where are these people showing up, and I want to find out why they're showing up. This is what networks. So if you guys, can I switch subjects a little bit?
Absolutely. I don't remember my questions.
You guys. So when it comes to who are we going to hire, they also look at social media behavior. Are you negative? Are you an asshole? Are you bitter? Are you angry? Are you political? Now, you have every right to be, but that might keep you from working.
It might.
Keep your personal, if you don't, and by the way, we're one Google search away to finding the other page. If you really want to work in this business, nobody knows on social media anything about me. My social media presence is all career. Everybody right now wants to just spew their opinions. And I cannot tell you how many networks, studios, ad agencies are going, I don't want to work with this person. Because the company that the ad agency is representing is liberal or conservative or whatever. And they don't want that actor who talks about whatever they want to talk about representing their product. So think about that before you post.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add 2 things for you, Kai. One of the biggest problems that people with just plain old raw talent to have when they start to convert to reading scripts is it's more difficult for them to apply that impromptu, I can do anything to the script itself. So you need to get that mic time. You need to get into a class where you're reading copy, getting directed. Taking direction is a completely different skill. Reading is, I have a lot of radio guys who sound great. Their voices are relaxed and amazing when they're just doing a plain old broadcast. You put a piece of copy in front of them and suddenly they tighten up and everything changes. So that's all about mic time.
Jeff just said acting classes, everyone, and Jeff is right. So here's the difference between a trained actor and a non-trained actor. A trained actor makes a choice, a non-trained actor makes a guess. So I had a situation last weekend. I was teaching a class online, and I asked someone to do 3 takes, A, B, C. And I said, ooh, give me three variations of B. And they were like, I don't remember what I did. Well, with an acting technique, you can remember what you did. So I'm a firm believer in acting and improv. I think if you have one check for your acting career, study improv, because improv forces you to commit to choices and not waver. It gets you out of your head. I also recommend guys study acting and improv and then study voiceover. And I got to tell you, you could be the world's greatest dialectician, but if you can't read scripts, it doesn't matter how well you sound. I'm a terrible dialectician.
Dialectologist, darling. You don't study dialectics.
What do you study? Say again?
No, this guy, I went to Queen's University, or I'm sorry, University College London. I talked to John Wells, who wrote the 12-volume survey of the dialects of British. And I said, I'm a dialectician. And he said, you're not a dialectician. You don't study dialectics. And he spit all over my face. So
all right, so here's the deal. Study with Eliza. She because she gets it and she has a sense of humor. But the bottom line is, guys, you need to have basic acting skills. Nobody cares how many voices you can do or how vocally versatile you are. If you can't make the words come to life, who cares?
True that. All right, more questions. And then Stuart and Jeffrey, please interrupt me when we have 15 minutes before the end of our hour so we can get into that script. And I don't want to abuse Bob's generosity here. I want to make sure.
No, I still have more bourbon. I'm fine.
Okay, God, somebody please order that man more bourbon. Let's hang out.
That gives us 3 more minutes for questions.
Oh my God, 3 more minutes. Okay. Well,
by the way, do you have a time limit? Because I don't.
If you don't have a timeline, let's do 10 more minutes of questions. Then we'll do 15 minutes of reading, and then if there are more pressing questions, we'll just get another bourbon.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Wunderbar. All right, I like this one. From Alex Zurovac. I'm butchering that name, but apologies. If you could pick one voice actor, dead or alive, to narrate the story of your life, who would it be and why?
It wouldn't be a voice actor.
Who would it be?
It'd be Jack Lemmon.
Oh, why?
Because I find him to be the greatest actor that ever lived.
Jack Lemmon. There's your
I'm okay
answer.
with that answer.
And here's why. Whether he was doing a comedy, drama, or an interview on Johnny Carson, he was the same person. And I so resonate with his cadence and his heart and his vulnerabilities.
That is so sweet.
That's wonderful.
Okay, more questions, guys.
Yeah, I'm in the moment here.
But he's double scale, so I can't afford him.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question, Bob. Do you insist on double scale? I know that might be personal.
Depends on the job.
Yeah.
I mean, on certain jobs, I insist on more than that. There are some people out there that have been so good to me in my career that I will never ask for more than scale. And there are some jobs that I'm going to use my 40 years in the business to leverage a lot of money. And by the way, guys, you must risk the word no to advance your career. And sometimes no is, I'm not going to do that throaty voice. And sometimes no is, no, I'm not, I don't want to advertise that product. And sometimes no is, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm worth more. You have to decide, but you have to also risk that they're going to say, never mind, we'll turn you down. And that's okay too. But there are people in this business, I'll tell you who they are. I will do anything for Seth Green.
Oh, yeah.
I will.
He's got gray in his beard now.
I said that on social media. I was hoping it wasn't embarrassing.
Yeah.
By the way, me too. I've got a Corona beard right now. I will do anytime I go. I can't say that for everybody, but there are certain people in my business that, man, you call me. If you call me and say I have no budget, what can you do for me? I'll make it work because I've been doing this for so long, and they were there for me early on in my career.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line is, know your worth, insist on your worth, but also know that if you have something that's going to make them look better and come back to you later on, there's value maybe later on.
Right on. Hey, Stuart, I think Bob and I are similar in that we like to actually see people and meet people and hear their voices. So if you've got somebody with a question and you can unmute them, guys, keep it brief, but go ahead and ask your questions yourself.
I know, I saw Kai, I didn't see anybody else.
Okay. Let's see who's got questions here.
Tucker's got a question.
Tucker.
Tucker.
All right, Tucker, you're on. Go for it, man.
Tucker.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hear you.
All right, so I actually just stole this from Alex, so I have to give him credit, but I did want to hear this too, and I think a lot of people would as well. But what was the lowest point in your career, and how did you bounce back from it?
I'm hesitating because I'm such a glass half full kind of guy. I have had to re-audition for Porky Pig now 7 times.
Oh my God, that's my story with Elizabeth Swann.
The lowest point was the first time. The second lowest time was the most recent time. But I also find gratitude. I've always said, if somebody else gets it, I've had 30 great years. Okay, the absolute lowest time was 20 years ago. I was the voice of Disney Channel. I was doing really well. And Disney Channel wanted to renew me for another 2 years. So this house I'm in right now, I opened escrow, a 30-day escrow. I closed escrow. 31 days later, Disney Channel changed their mind and replaced. 6 months later, we had the commercial strike. All I kept thinking was how lucky I am. My lowest point lasted 30 seconds. Oh my God, I have a house I can sell. I don't have to buy furniture. I'm a massage therapist. I can keep working. I still do animation. That's not on strike. So I've always been able to find the glass is half full. The problem with most actors, most people, is any obstacle is doom and gloom, and they don't find gratitude. Guys, if you find gratitude, there is no lowest point. Because if the rug was pulled, you had a rug. Do you know how many people would have killed just to have the rug? So there never has to be a low point. If your sole purpose in life is to get high at the microphone, then there will be no low point, because you'll have the same satisfaction auditioning as you do working. And that is not just positive thinking. Bless you, was that a sneeze?
Oh no, that was my son whispering his little messages.
Oh, I thought that was either a sneeze. I didn't know sun, or there's a really good cocktail right down there. Yeah, guys, there are people are right now. I chastised somebody on social media about a week and a half ago who called our current sequester because of coronavirus. I never knew I'd ever live in a third nation. And I said, I would like, when this is all over, for you to spend the amount of time we are sequestered in a third nation and come back to me and tell me, oops, I made a mistake. Gratitude goes a very, very, very long way. And as low as I've ever been, I don't take anything for granted, and I've got such gratitude.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that about you, Bob. I've always loved that about you, Bob. Anytime I've ever heard anybody say anything negative in your general direction.
What have they said negative? What have they said?
Not about you, just around you.
Yeah,
You spin it. You turn them.
Here's the deal. I know that rubs people the wrong way because they think it's not practical, but it really does get you through. It really does.
No, it changes everything. It changes them too. It changes the people who are experiencing the negativity. They get to see something in a better light.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Sir, I have a personal question that I saved. And,
Jewish.
Oh,
not you. Oh, Mike. Oh, not my personal.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
Right.
When it, for a guy who stutters on purpose professionally, what advice would you give to someone who flubs up a line over and over?
Well, we stopped doing live broadcasts in 1950 something. God created take 2 and take 10. It's okay to fuck up. I do it all the time. You know what's really interesting? I will mess up in tiny little lines, and I can master large pages.
Me too.
So here's what happens. And this kind of also goes to those of you who are going, how do you get out of being nervous? Stop caring what they want. Stop caring if you're being liked. Your only goal is to have fun. If you give a damn what their opinion is, Who's there? The person listening, the producer, the director, your agent, your spouse, your mother, whoever. If you're doing this for their approval, you've got so much baggage on your shoulders, there's no way you're going to be able to commit to your choices. If you just go in there and have fun, and you don't, and here's another bit of advice, don't take direction as correction. The moment we feel corrected, we're afraid to try again for fear of being corrected again. If they don't like you, they're not going to redirect you. They're going to say thank you and get the next actor. But when they redirect you, there is a director, I will not mention their name. There is a director in animation. If they don't know the actor, it's a first time for a callback, they will redirect them in a way that is wrong, that is not the character, just to see what the actor does under pressure. And if the actor flubs, freaks out, or asks why, they're out of there.
Or explains what they did, explains their choices.
Oh, never explain.
Yeah.
No, nobody cares why you did it. They just want to hear that you did it. If they ask why you did it, sure, explain. But they're not going to do that. Yeah, never justify or explain. But the actor that takes that really awkward, weird direction and says why, gone. The good actor is going to get that little grin and go, okay, why? Because it is creatively cool. Yeah. Oh my God, that is not what we're supposed to do today. My character is a 9-year-old child, and you want me to do it like an 80-year-old Martian? Okay. Because here's the deal. Charlie Adler, Debbie Derryberry, Jess Harnell, myself, Billy West, Dee Baker. We're not going to say why. We're going to say stop me when you've heard enough. Because this is what we do. I don't fence. I don't tap dance. I can't do Shakespeare, but I can do characters.
I would venture to say that you can do Hamlet's monologue.
Well, I will tell you that when they made us do a callback for Space Jam, one of the callback challenges was Shakespeare, and they had us do Hamlet's To Be or Not to Be. And I was in the lobby watching the other 4 actors freak out, looking at their copy, who were called back for Porky, and I'm looking at my copy going, oh, I've got this.
Oh, come on, let's just hear a little bit, Bob.
Of Hamlet?
Yeah. It should be the opposite.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite.
Last question. Sean Cordy has a great question. So, Sean, you're on. Let's hear it.
Hey, Sean.
Sean, you're there?
Sean, where are you, buddy?
There we go. Yeah,
there he is.
I was waiting for approval. How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I approve you.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Bob, I just was wondering, because not being full-time and everything like that, but when I get into my booth to do auditions or whatever, I think I have a little bit of a challenge sort of unplugging from life and then just sort of like being like, let me focus in on this character. You know what I mean? Do you have any tips, any tricks, anything that works for you? Because I mean,
sure.
Yeah, that would be great.
80% of animation is in the imagination. We have all been on the set where shit happens. People were on the set where the director said action on the day that Kennedy was assassinated. Your job is to act. Your job is to get out of your head in whatever reality is and be on the page. That's why I suggest improv and acting classes. If you're not able to do that, you are not ready for that voiceover audition. That is acting 101, my friend. It's not about your head. It's about life in general. Life happens, but the moment you're in that script, you're in the moment of the script. It has nothing to do with you or the reality of the world. The other problem I hear with demos and auditions is I can hear the space the actor is reading in. It's kind of along the same lines of what you're talking about. Not that I hear how small their booth is, or I can hear room noise. I can hear they're in a booth. They're not thinking my character's on a spaceship. My character's on a football field. My character's in a locker room. They're not thinking about where the character is on the page. They're still in the mindset of where they are in their space, which means they're not committed. They're not committed actors. Again, it's acting 101. Whether it's a voiceover for a cartoon, a theater piece, a soap opera, a sitcom. It doesn't matter where you are. When you, the actor, your truth is the moment in that script where you are in that scene. If you're not able to be there, you got to find some way to get there. And it may not be a trick in your head. It may be get thee to an acting class.
Yeah, and apparently online is the place to go for those right now. So for any of you who don't know, the Character Acting Academy is enrolling right now. We're starting new classes on Earth Day, April 22nd. Hoping that, you know, more people will save the gas money and show up on the mic and get some direction. You can find that at characteractingacademy.com. And from now till April 22nd, we are giving everybody the returning student rate. So click the returning student button, and up until April 22nd, new people can get into them. And we got a class this Friday as well. So if you get in before then, that's a little bonus thing we're doing on Friday. My son is panting. So are we ready to do this script?
Go for it.
Ryden, if you wanted to say anything, now's the time. It's bedtime pretty soon.
Now, I'm not doing a script. You guys are, right?
Well, we're doing one. They may have cast you. Here was the project. Here was the assignment.
I'm a little dizzy because my head has been
Okay.
Now, how would I have a script?
No, we're gonna pop a cold read script up onto the screen.
Oh my God! That's not cold. That's frozen.
You can do it.
Nah.
I have things
I
hanging.
think Bob is the "that's all, folks" at the end.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah, but not for scale.
Let me explain. This is vengeance in action, actually. And you know, Bob, if you'd like to opt out, I don't want to put you on the spot. By all means,
I don't mind doing it, but my glass is not full of.
You need to go get your drink refill.
No, I don't want more. I don't want more. I just wanted to show you that I've had a lot. So
awesome.
It'll
I had
sound
most
even
of mine
better.
as well. So here's the thing. When I went to the School of the Arts, Performing Arts High School, as was my dream since I was 5, my father was a drama teacher. So I had to audition for West Side Story and this totally strange play he did about the Nigerian Revolution in front of the entire group of people who were auditioning, and they had to vote. So before I could get a job, I had to audition in front of a committee of my peers and be voted in by my peers. So I never got, so it was sort of a trial by fire. And in that same vein, taking my vengeance on all my students, I assigned them, some of my graduates and assistants from last year, to go ahead and turn The Princess Bride into a 15-minute script and cast some of their classmates as characters. Sort of Comic-Con style, the way we do those panels and the way they say you can go ahead and do whatever character you want. So they may have cast you, they may have cast me, they may be asking us to do specific characters. It's all cold reading.
Can't you tell that I'm sick? Can't you tell him that I'm sick?
Let's see. Here we go. This ought to put up a script. Can everybody see that?
Uh-huh.
All right.
So are you going to tell us who you cast?
That
Or is that Corey? Did Corey do the casting, or Sarah?
Corey and Jeff and Sarah did the casting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who do we got, Jeff?
Well, first scene with mother and kid is Mrs. Cartman with Cartman.
Okay. Shall we go? And then you're going to tell us who the next people are?
That's the plan.
Mark it, set, go. Ready? Are you feeling any better, honey?
A little bit.
Guess what?
What?
Your grandfather's here.
Me? Can't you just tell him that I'm sick?
All right. Oh, we have a cast list. Buttercup
Yes, we
is
do.
going to be played by Belle. And Wesley is going to be played by, I'm assuming, Jeffrey Bentley as the Mad Hatter. And Belle, I'm assuming you chose Tiffany Kalana to be Belle. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right, let's hear this scene.
Farm boy, polish my horse's saddle. I want to see my face shining in it by morning.
As you wish.
farm boy. Fill these with water, please.
As you wish.
Oh, here
This
comes
is
Cartman.
Xanthe. This is supposed to be Xanthe's part. We switched over so Xanthe could have a role. Is Xanthe here?
Is Xanthe here?
Xanthe unmuted.
Here's Xanthe.
And this is why animation still has to be
Gotcha.
done in person in an ensemble room at a table.
Wait, I don't. Am I supposed to do Cartman?
You can do no. You can do whatever you want. That we just gave you another. Yeah.
What is this? Are you trying to trick me? What's the sport? Is this a kissing book?
Wait, just wait.
Well, when does it get good?
Keep your shirt on. Let me read.
Oh, we got Winnie the Pooh.
With
So
Tweety.
here we are in the next scene. Apparently we're straight cut to the Man in Black and Fetzik. And the Man in Black happens to be played by Winnie the Pooh, and Fetzik apparently is going to be played by Tweety, and I'm pretty sure that would be Bob Bergen.
Oh, I'm doing this?
Yeah, you're gonna be.
Oh, okay. I gotta read. Okay. Oh my God. By the way, I want to share with everybody. Tweety, when it's finished in post production, is sped up.
Yeah, same with all of the South Park kids, by the way. So Lila,
Yeah, there we.
go
I
closer to
know.
Cartman than
Exactly.
Cartman.
By the way, same with Elizabeth Montgomery's nose twitch was sped up visually.
Oh wow.
I know, right? So what you hear will not sound a bit like Tweety. It's not the bourbon, I swear.
But maybe and maybe you can demonstrate a little bit on how we improvise in these panels, Bob. Because
Okay.
Bourbon might talk through you and Tweety as Fetzik.
All right.
And starting in the beginning of the scene with the Man in Black and Fetzik.
I believe you. So, what happens now?
Oh, we face each other as God intended. Sportsmanlike. No tricks, no weapons. Still against skill alone in that big old putty cat.
You mean you'll put down your anvil and I'll put down my honey pot and we'll try to kill each other like civilized people? Oh, bother.
Oh, and now there's Jack Sparrow. The Man in Black has become Jack Sparrow.
It happens.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I'm still up. Hang on. All right. Where is the poison? The battle of wits has begun. It ends when you decide and we both drink and find out who's right and who is dead.
Oh, and Smeagol, played by Corey, I'm assuming. Corey Trombley as Smeagol as Vicini.
People say they're still muted.
Oh, no. Is Corey still muted? Can you unmute Corey there, Stuart?
Looking for Corey.
In all the wrong places.
Corey, are you there?
So, Bob, you'll appreciate this. Corey actually sent me a audio get well card when I had my breast reduction surgery as my breasts, as the two voices of Smeagol and Gollum, upset that I had gotten rid of them. It was quite good.
Was it method?
Oh, totally. Not. The gutter. All right. Are we ready? Do we have Corey?
We have
Corey. There he is. You want me to... Okay.
Sure, go ahead. Go back into it.
Okay. All right. Where is the poison? The battle of wits has begun. It ends when you decide and we both drink and find out who is right and who is dead.
Oh, but it's so simple. All I have to do is divine what I know of you. Are you the sort of man who would put the poison into his own goblet or his enemies?
You're just stalling now.
Not remotely. You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known as this. Never get in the battle against the Sicilian when death is on the line.
Oh, God. Who is Mrs. Croker?
That's me.
That's Sarah. Mrs. Croker or Lila?
From Disney's Amphibia.
Okay, let's hear
By
it.
the way, hi, Lila.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, honey. How
Hi.
are you?
I like your face. I'm hugging you.
You like my Corona beard?
Yeah.
Are you seasick at all?
I'm never gonna live that down.
Honey, God love you.
Do you get seasick on Bob's cruise?
Yes,
it was
did.
the first couple days was rough for me.
She got seasick, and Donald Duck got seasick. It was
Daniel and I were both like,
oh my God! And Daniel was like, "When's the next one?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't."
Yeah. All right.
By the way,
yeah.
she introduced me to keto.
Oh yeah, I did.
No, the keto diet or tequila with a T?
Oh no, the keto diet.
Oh, awesome.
Tequila came later.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Are you thinking of doing another cruise in anytime soon, Bob?
Yeah, if the cruise has ever happened again, sure. Yeah.
All right. So we have the albino in the torture chamber, right? And then Wesley. And who's playing Wesley today?
Jon Snow.
Okay, Jon Snow and Mrs. Croker. Let's go. Let's hear it.
He only whispers, "The pit of despair!" He begins standing with his wounds. Wesley winces. Don't even think Don't even think about trying to escape. The chains are far too thick. And don't dream of being rescued either. The only way in is secret. And only the prince, that sexy so-and-so, the count, that not sexy so-and-so, and I know how to get in and out.
Then I'm here till I die. Again.
Ooh, and Valerie, played by Sarah Kramer as Minnie Mouse.
Corey
Here
is
we are in
Mickey
the
Mouse.
scene with Max and Valerie, and then Miracle Max is going to be played by Mickey Mouse, which I assume is also Corey. Let's hear it.
Ooh, liar, liar, liar!
Oh, get back,
Valerie in Ancient Fury storms out of a back room and toward.
Oh, get back, witch!
You're a witch? I'm your wife!
Oh, you never had it so good.
Oh, buttons and bows! Ever since Prince Humperdinck fired him, his confidence is shattered.
Why'd you say that name? You promised me you'd never say that name. That goddamn
Humperdinck?
Oh, no.
Humperdinck!
I'm not listening. Stop it. Goofy, help me.
Okay, Rugen as Egret.
Are you coming down into the pit? Wesley's got his strength back. I'm starting him on the machine tonight.
Humperdinck. Shelley. Oh, that's me.
That's
I'm
you.
Humperdinck.
Tyrone, you know how much I love watching your work, but I got my country 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, and Gilbert frame front. I'm swamped. Plus, I think I just bled all over the floor. I think I got my period.
All right.
South Park, what do you want? Apologizing for
special
swearing
treat.
in my class.
We got a special treat right now with the booer.
Yeah, so Eliza, you can be Buttercup if you want, but I'll start with the booing first.
Why don't we give Xanthi Buttercup?
Okay.
Ready, Xanthi? And I suggest that you do Buttercup as a Hong Kong Revolutionary National.
All right, here we go with the booing.
No butter, no butter.
Oh, and Sarah happens to be speaking fluent Huttese. It's just a thing.
It's just a thing. Carry on.
Carry on. And Xanthi?
Why do you do this? Chuba funta capa, chiasa do pugno. But they would have killed Wesley if I hadn't done it.
Sorry, can you scroll down and over?
Oh, there's the Huttese right there. We got some geeks in this class, Bob.
Oh, sorry, what? Yeah, well, that's okay. That's what show business is all about.
We're speaking Huttese now. Let's hear it. Give it to her.
Kuya maya stupa, kuchunek pidunki winky, chiatuda hultur koga. My lord, Qui kuni dumba. Dopa maski dopa miki chica. Maya pudu. Dumpa. Shuta slimo wormo. Ichuta.
I can see it. I can totally see it. Impressive clergyman, Elmer Fudd, played by Stuart Goffey.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today. Marriage, the blessed arrangement, that dream within a dream.
And Rugen as Yosemite Sam.
Kill the dark one and the giant, but leave the third for questioning.
And as his warriors attack, and he goes as wild, and maybe the warriors are good. Maybe they're even better than that. But they never get a chance to show it because this is something now. This Inigo gone mad, and the six-fingered sword has never flashed faster, and the fourth warrior is dead before the first one has even hit the floor. There's a pause. And then Porky Pig as Inigo Montoya.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's played by Bob Bergen.
Hello. My name is my name is Phil. You killed my father. Prepare to eat. Prepare to eat. That's all for you folks.
Yes, we got through it.
Is that it? That's the
Oh, I didn't read that. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's where improv becomes reality.
Right?
And didn't we have fun?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we focused on.
I mean, well done, you guys. I told them to do that this afternoon. I was like, what do you think about this? And they just nailed it. They did it.
There we go.
Yay! Okay. I especially like Inigo Montoya as Porky Pig now.
Phil.
Classic.
He'll forever be Phil now.
AKA Phil.
All right. So this is Sarah Kramer, for those of you who didn't recognize from the Hutties.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
How are you?
I miss you.
By the way, I'm seeing so many people I haven't seen in so long.
I know.
This is so much fun.
I know. We got to go cruising again.
I know, right?
Someday stay away from Princess. Okay. So do we have any more?
No, we did Princess. And
We
Princess,
did.
By the way, no, Princess, well, we did. But Princess, guys, after now, we'll be so clean.
Bob has been so generous with his time and hanging
I
out
am
with us.
yours. I'm yours, guys. I'm yours. I just popped a note to my spouse, start making dinner. It's going to be at least 20 minutes.
Hey, Ryden, go get me another drink.
Is that your kid?
Yeah.
Teaching them early.
That's what
Hey,
they're
this
for.
is not shaken, not
trained.
stirred.
Well trained.
What good is an elf if they don't do chores?
Right, right.
Okay, so any more questions for Mr. Bergen here? Anyone? Beulah?
It says suggestions to exercise improv.
Love you.
Stop that. Okay, my spouse just made Alexa talk to me. What was the question?
Suggestions to exercise improv.
Go to an improv class. Oh, I do have one. This came from Billy West. We were at a session one day. He puts on YouTube and turns the sound down and just matches the sync.
Nice.
I love those.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he does it himself. So, but guys, improv class,
Well, and for quarantine, that's a great exercise.
right?
You all have Zoom.
Could
I didn't ask for water, little kid.
It's not what I ordered.
Here's one. What is the most common microphone you see in major studios?
for what?
I guess for VO.
For what?
Animation.
I'd say for animation.
Neumann U87.
Neumann.
Norman U87. And sometimes, like at Disney, they've got those little shotgun guys.
But that would be
yeah.
that's a 416.
Yeah.
But at Disney, if you go to Doc Kane's studio at Stage B at Disney, he has about a dozen mics. And
Nice.
depending on the scene, depending on your voice quality, depending on what they're looking for, he will have you go in the front, in the back, close up. That's a good mixer. But I have two mics in my home booth. I have one that is like a Neumann-like condenser mic, and I have a 416.
Very nice.
Oh, did you get more cocktails?
Kid. I'm telling you, elves, adopt.
Was that from Jesus up above? Hey, Bob Hope, give me a cocktail.
Yeah. So, any further questions, you guys? Does anybody else have any
Can I
questions?
share something? Can I share something about the mic?
Yeah.
A great mic will not make a bad actor sound better, and a crappy mic will not make a great actor sound great.
This
So
is true.
it's about you. It's
it's always
what
about
Dan
you.
Leonard was saying.
Well, I do believe Dan Leonard said that every individual is different, so every mic is different.
And so are your chords, and so is your program, and so is your space, and so is everything. And Dan's awesome.
Love him.
We had Jeff Burns wanted to know, what trends are you noticing in demo reads these days, and what trends do you think they're evolving towards?
Which demo?
Yeah.
Animation, probably.
All right. It's a great question. So when people do a commercial demo or a promo demo, they are doing commercials that reflect today. They're doing promos that reflect programming of today. Then you've got the character demo. Nobody ever thinks about, what is Adult Swim today? What is FX primetime today? What is PBS Kids from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.? They're just doing a variety of voices, hoping they're versatile enough to get a job or representation. Guys, think about what the buyers want and what is on the air. So when you're thinking your character demo, and by the way, we're not every actor is all things animation. So when you're thinking your character demo, well, what am I right for Disney XD? What am I right for Sprout? What am I right for Cartoon Network between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., etc.? Don't do a bunch of voices. Do what you think you're right for the industry, the same way that a commercial demo is, the same way that a promo demo is, the same way that a documentary narration demo is. Nobody thinks this, and that's why very few people get noticed, represented, or work.
There you go.
From their demo.
There you go. So by the way, for those of you who are interested in an online acting class while we're all cooped up, characteractingacademy.com. One of my students will probably put it in the chat, and you can see there all the different people like Bob that we bring in, because I don't know everything, sadly. I know some things, but most things I don't know. So I bring in people like Bob, and there is really nobody like Bob.
Oh, so many like Bob, but
I know things I don't. And we have a 2-hour monthly on the mic class. We have a dialect module where it's actually more of a character study. I went around the world recording people for the last 25 years, and I think I have about 7,000 interviews on tape.
Oh my God, you're so good. That's so cool. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I did that. They're all in various forms of media, though. We got your DATs, you got your mini discs, you got your hard disk recorders, you got your cassette. But yeah, so those are all available to you guys at the dialect database, which is part of the class. It's also something you can get onto, like for 99 cents a pop. You can download an interview. It's what I called my one-woman shows from, which is how I ended up getting an agent. I did a one-woman show in the conference room at ICM for Corey Weissman 25 years ago, and it was all taken from these interviews that I'd done with people around the world. Study people. People are characters. Start with the people. Mimic real people, and then that will burgeon into other characters. So what we do in the Character Acting Academy is we take 3 different people. We do what I call a springboard exercise, which is it really uses the psychology of your brain hemispheres. You stick a microphone in your left ear, which goes right into your right brain, and you just get into a chanting mode with this person's native voice, and then you start chanting with it mindlessly, and your voice will get 90% of the way there, whether it's a dialect, an accent, or some sort of voice match that you want to do, an impression you want to do. It gives you a toolbox that is exponentially beyond your own toolbox.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I gotta say, I will be at a restaurant and I will hear a waiter with a really cool something, whether there is an accent, dialect, or personality, and I will put my phone on the table and push memo record and say, "Can you tell me the specials again?" Because I'm going to borrow, I'm going to steal whatever they're giving me, because what they're giving me is something that was not a part of my repertoire.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
what you're offering these people right now is gold.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm obsessed. So I'm hoping that it's going to be usable by people other than me and get out of my hard drives and become something that's useful. And it is,
Awesome.
it has. I've seen it with my 300 students so far. I think you guys have had some experience with it as well. So yeah, so we study the first week of the month, we study those modules and you have full access to that. And the second week we go into a live performance lab online where I hear you do your springboards and I'll tweak those last few little things. And I know many of you who've tried to study accents and dialects in the past have come into this sort of academic, phonetics thing, and it's really puts you in your left brain and it's just the wrong place to be as an actor. You don't want to get stuck analyzing things. But when you're 90% there already because you've gone through this auditory method, those few tweaks dial you in and create perfection. Perfection! No, we're not actually after perfection. Yes, we are! But yeah, so they get you all the way there. And then the next week, we take those mimicked sounds and those 3 or 4 different avatars that we have, and we put them together into a new character with that dialect that we put on to copy, whether it's from Ubisoft or whether it's from DreamWorks or Pixar or Nickelodeon, whatever was auditioning when 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever. I only use copy from projects that have come out, obviously, because we don't want to violate any NDAs. But then we get to apply that in the third week, and then the fourth week we try to have an industry webinar with somebody like Bob, and then you guys get to perform again. So that's how that class is set up, and we're starting up again April 22nd. So are there any further questions for Bob before we?
Yeah, hit me, guys. I don't have dinner for another 5 minutes.
We have 5 whole minutes. Who's got them?
I'm yours. I'm yours. Can I also ask them or offer them if they want to reach me on Instagram, Bergen.Bob, Twitter, @Bob Bergen, Facebook, my email. If you guys have further questions, I'm yours.
Okay, so can
what kind of bourbon? Bullet Rye, actually.
So the Twitter Bob again is what?
Twitter is @Bob Bergen.
@Bob Bergen, that's easy enough. And then the Instagram?
Bergen.Bob.
Bergen.Bob. And then the email, do you want to pop that in the chat?
Yeah, Bob@BobBergen.com.
Bob@BobBergen.com. Thank you so much for your accessibility, Bob Bergen.
Oh, always.
And
Lila's stuck a question up a couple times.
Go for it, Lila.
I think she might be muted though.
What do you do about seasickness when you're on a voiceover cruise?
Oh, it'll never die.
Oh, Lila got booted. She's trying to rejoin, says the meeting host will let me in soon. So let's let Lila back in.
She's
here.
Texted.
There we go. Okay. What's your question?
Lila. Question?
Unmute Lila.
I'm here. I'm here. Tommy, can you hear me?
I hear. Yeah, no, it was about the AB5 thing going on. I have not switched over. I've been there's been lots of protests going on. I have international clients and LA clients, and nobody's had an issue with me yet. Is this something that I should be like, oh, I've got to become an LLC right now? Or should I be like, let me see how things play out in the next, is this urgent, or do I need to to change my status? Because I'm right now still just Schedule C freelancer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It hasn't affected the world of union.
Yeah.
So it's all about non-union. So part of me thinks, oh my God, maybe this will make more work union.
Mm.
But the other part of me thinks, oh, this is so going to be overturned. I mean,
that's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm kind of
yeah. I mean, but I'm not the one to advise on this because I don't know. But I've been asking everybody on my boat and my agent, and everyone's like, this doesn't affect you. Don't worry about it. I said, no, it affects everybody who's taking my class. So I need to give them an answer. And they're like, we don't know. We don't care. So right now we're trying to stay alive and be able to go to Costco without a mask. So I don't, and by the way, they did extend our taxes. So we have some to think about this.
Yeah.
So I guys, I'm not the one to ask about this killer question. I just
No
don't.
worries, darling.
Sweetheart, I love you. You know I do. You know I do. I've never seen you so relaxed on pillows.
You know, it was a long day. I wanted to be comfortable. What can I say?
The last time I saw you was the last dinner on the boat. It
That's
was you
right.
and me, and we had a fabulous time.
That's right. It was wonderful. Acupuncture is what got me through that seasickness, though. Yeah. They put
more questions. I got more time. I got 3 more minutes.
You guys are talking about a cruise that happened a year and a half ago. Am I correct?
Yeah, but here's the deal. If you guys there's a Facebook page called VO Cruise and just join it. That will be the first place I will promote the next cruise. I have a feeling it's going to book from that page because we've got all of our previous cruisers and a lot of people who are like, hey, I didn't even know about this, so it'll be there. I swear to you, there will be no viruses. It will just and Sarah, I'm hoping for smoother sails. I swear I'm hoping for smoother sails. And I don't think Daniel's forgiven me. I'm just saying.
He survived.
That's one nauseous duck. He's one nauseous.
Yeah, we recorded him at Debbie Derryberry's Seder doing the 13 names of God in Donald Duck's voice. It's quite something.
So since I was 5 years old, I always did the 5 questions as Porky Pig.
Aww.
We're not doing Passover this year because we can't get together.
Right. Can you just do one of the questions as Porky?
Not in Hebrew.
Why is this night different from all other? Why is this night different from all other? What gives?
That's fantastic.
Actually, I remember when I was about 7, I did that whole stutter, and then my ad lib was,
Jesus, Moses.
And my mother got really mad. My mother got so pissed.
That's awesome. I love that so much.
My heart is happy.
That's an ending spot, but we do have a couple questions.
Go for it.
Bob, would you ever consider teaching a class online?
So this is my second class I've ever done online.
Thank you.
I did one last weekend for our class I was booked to do in San Francisco. My LA class has it's going to be a longer wait list now because of Corona, but it's got like a 4 or 5 year wait list. You know what I would do online? I won't do a tangible how to create characters online because I really need to be there. What I will do online is what I call VO group therapy, where I take everybody and I would say, okay, Sarah, what do you want out of your VO career? What have you done? What do you want? And fine tune and create that roadmap, because most people, some of the stuff I talked about tonight, the demo, who are you talking to? Your cover letter, all that stuff, the stuff that separates you from the wannabes and puts you in that one little area where the buyers, the agents, the casting directors go, oh, they're interesting. Because most people are homogenized. They're just amongst the herd. You want to be ahead of the herd. So that is something I might do online. But a tangible, how to create characters, I need to be in the room. I need to have eye contact, physical contact. I need that extra. And there are people, Mick Wingert is fabulous. Debbie Derryberry is phenomenal. Richard Horvitz. There are people out there that can teach online and do a great job. I'm not one of them.
Yeah. And Debbie and Richard has an intensive coming up in June, you guys. And of course, there's my class. What is my class? Chopped liver? Whatever.
There you go.
So any more further questions before we...
And by the way, if Sarah and anybody else could take a voiceover class on a moving ship and stand at the mic as everything's doing this, trust me, we can do it anywhere.
Wow, I can only imagine that must have been a lot of fun. What was going on with the mic stands?
Well, I don't remember who was in the Adagio Lounge where we couldn't get the music turned off.
Yeah.
Was that you? Was that Sarah? Okay.
Lila was there too.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right, yeah. And then Mary Lynn's room where it was a conference room where people kept walking and going, is this the travel agent seminar?
Is this where bingo is?
Now is it? Yeah. So if you can get past those obstacles, we can do a class online.
Oh, Bob, I have a question.
Yes.
Unless somebody else has a pressing one, because I can always,
Press me. Press me.
Press.
Anybody want to press? Oh, I do.
I have one too.
Okay, you too. Go for it.
Just tips on finding your signature voice. Now I know you wanted to be Porky since you were young, but
Wait, are you talking about a character voice or your speaking voice?
a character voice. I know we can steal from.
Porky's not my character voice.
Your character voice.
Porky's a character I do. I am right now doing my character voice. So I had a buddy who was the announcer on the Tonight Show, and his problem was he didn't know how to be himself on the mic. And I told his wife, had a tape recorder at the breakfast room table when he's got 3 kids, and just tape him talking about cereal and school, and play it for him. That's your signature voice. It's your cadence, it's your heart, it's your vulnerabilities, it's your sense of humor, it's your style. That is your commercial, narration, promo, sound. Characters, well, because every character sounds different. You're a character actor, there is no signature character, but who you are in your heart. When I go to the mic with a commercial, it says be conversational, and it's not written conversational. Well, we don't talk like that script is written in our day-to-day, but a good actor can. So again, that's why God created acting and improv classes.
So I have a question for you, Bob.
Yes, ma'am.
So in terms of like what you were talking about, support group kind of online, what do you want next in your career? Suppose that you, for perchance, have been pigeonholed as that dialect person who can do any dialect, or that crazy voice person that gets called whenever a crazy voice is needed, that's totally off the beaten path. And I spend most of my time isolated in a sound booth, whether it's my home studio or at Disney Character Voices by myself. I want to get more back into the ensemble work. Like Squirrel Boy was so much fun with Pamela Adlon and Richard Horvitz, and I just adore that ensemble work just like I adored theater work. So what would you suggest for me to move back into that, since I've been in Portland for 4 years telling Hollywood, well, you don't love me, so I'm leaving?
Promote what you want as if you've never done anything else. Nobody gives a shit that you've been the dialect accent person god of the planet, because they're going to think, oh, it's the accent dialect person who wants to do this.
Yeah.
So create a whole different marketing website, etc., that doesn't reflect what you've done, that you don't want to continue to do. By the way, it's a great question. When I was the voice of Disney Channel, my very first day, my producer said to me, got a question, and if the answer is no, no hard feelings, you still have a contract. We've hired you for a year. But are you comfortable with character voices? And I said, kinda, why? And he said, well, every once in a while, we're going to have a promo that has a character. Now, we don't want to put you on the spot or make you feel uncomfortable. And if you can't do it, we can find other actors. But I thought I'd put it out there for you. And my engineer was somebody I'd worked with a million times. And he says to my producer, do you know who he is and what he does? And he goes, no, I don't. That was an ideal situation. The promo world doesn't want to know you do animation. The animation world doesn't want to know you do audiobooks. The audiobook world doesn't want to know that you do games. You need to market every genre of voiceover as if that buyer is the only thing you do. It means the only website or web page, demo, etc. The people that send everybody their all-purpose website, look, it's like, think like a restaurant owner. I want people to come into my restaurant. So I'm going to have Chinese food and pizza, and I'm going to have deli food and everything. And nobody comes. Why? Because nobody knows what you are. But everyone goes to the deli with the best corned beef, and everybody goes to the Thai place with the best pad Thai, and everybody goes to the steak place with the best steak. Be the best animation actor. Be the best commercial actor. The fact that you can do all things, it is up to you to market each genre individually.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
That's why I'm here.
I just want to be around other people. I mean, honestly, even South Park was alone in a studio. Like so many of them are just alone in a studio. Any more questions from any of my lovely students before Bob goes and eats human food?
Or pig food. I'm not, my spouse is making the food. I don't care.
I found one more.
Go for it.
Yes, last question.
Yes. What would you suggest for a voice actor who suffers from chronic allergies? All day long, I'm sniffling and clearing my throat. I read an article that said voice actors and singers shouldn't be taking allergy medication because it dries their throat after a long-term use. What do you think?
Find a great doctor.
Yeah, and Dr. Line is a great doctor in Los Angeles.
Dr. Warren Line.
I love him.
He is the ENT of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dr. Line.
He took a disgusting video of my larynx, and I loved it.
And that's why so I used to go to Bobby Dare, and Bobby Dare passed away, but he was the guy that every voiceover actor went to. And when he died, everyone went to Dr. Line in Burbank, and Dr. Line is the best.
Yeah, he is. He is. I sent Freddie to him when he was having creature voice issues. Freddie Tadashore.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are at the end of our hour. Everybody, I want you to unmute yourselves, or Astute, if you're capable of
Everybody's
unmuting everybody.
unmuted.
Oh, wow, I can finally talk.
Let's take our
Everybody unmuted, and now they're talking. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
Hey.
Super
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bob.
Bob.
So much.
This was awesome to you.
You were there.
You
were there. And you were there.
Thank you so much.
You were there.
Thank you, Bob.
So appreciated.
Thanks,
You guys
Bob.
had fun?
Thanks,
Bob.
Nice
Fun with you so much.
So much fun.
Thank you for the vulnerability.
And so many of you.
So much for your generosity.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a class picture. On your mark, get set, say. Oh my God, I have 3 panels of class pictures to take. Everybody turn on your camera, and one more time, Tucker, and all y'all say, Porky!
Baby.
5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there's Kai. Kai, what time is it in Thailand?
It is 10 past 10.
Oh my gosh.
Reasonable time.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.